Oftentimes, you get referred to as the most dominant athlete in the world.
Pound for pound, you are the best UFC fighter, man or woman.
Are you fucking kidding me? The world's most dominant athlete? Look, I'm not denying that Mrs. Rowdy is an incredible fucking athlete who would absolutely rape me if I ever stepped foot in the octagon. Though, then again, I kinda wouldn't mind if she raped me. So, Ronda, if you're watching, you can rape me. But come on, the world's most dominant athlete. I think we can all agree she's probably the world's most dominant female athlete. But to exclude that gender distinction and imply there's no male MMA fighter in the world who could destroy her is just naive and delusional. Now, Ronda hasn't been shy in her hostility towards male fighters, even though the subject of men fighting women in the UFC is still highly controversial. She certainly didn't hesitate to take a swing at Floyd Mayweather.
I can't help but really say that I wonder how Floyd feels being beat by a woman for once. Wow. I'd like to see her pretend to not know who I am now.
But why does society exaggerate women's athletic accomplishments? Like, it's one thing to acknowledge Ronda's empirical skill as a fighter, but it's another thing entirely to make the naive statement that there isn't a more dominant athlete in the world. Do you really think Ronda would stand a fucking chance against Anderson Silva? Or how about the champion of UFC 189, Conor McGregor? Of course not. No one in their right mind would ever believe that. And yet for some reason our society likes to overblow and overglorify women's athletic accomplishments. This was the case last year with Casey Catanzaro, a competitor on American Ninja Warrior. Her performance went viral on YouTube when she became the first woman in the show's history to complete the course. And everyone went fucking nuts. The crowd, the announcer,
wow! What? Are you kidding me?
And even social media with the hashtag #MightyCasey. But was her performance really that special? Not really. Countless men had already completed that course before her, and in less than half the time it took her. It took her 8 minutes and 59 seconds, while the best record for the man was under 3 minutes. The truth is, if you put aside gender for a moment, and you just look strictly at skill and completion time, you'll realize that Casey's performance just wasn't a big deal. The truth is, the only reason society celebrated her ridiculously slow time is because they knew she was a woman. And that's part of the irony. The reason that women are often separated from men in sports is because, for the most part, there's just no competition. Men would destroy the women, it's just a fact. Thus, most sports will create a league exclusively for men and one exclusively for women. In a way, separating the two both reminds us of how different men and women are, yet also serves as a loophole to say nonsensical things like, Ronda Rousey is the most dominant athlete in the world. The reason this loophole exists is because when you never get to see women fight against men, you never get reminded of how easily most male MMA fighters would destroy Ronda. So when Ronda is only fighting against women, sure, she may have an undefeated UFC record, but that's because she's never been paired against another man.
You've said in the past, and I'm sure many people would acknowledge, that you could take down a lot of men, most men in fact, but you purposely say you don't want to compete with men because you think it's going to send the wrong message about abuse. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I just don't think that there should ever be a situation where there's an arena full of people gathered around cheering about a man hitting a woman.
So you don't believe in gender equality then?
So in your mind, separate but equal is how it should be.
Yeah, because it's real. It's a real fight, and it's not like it's a movie or it's part of a storyline or something like that. It's an actual man hitting a woman, and I don't think that's ever acceptable.
Never acceptable? Generalization much?
You've also said that MMA is the most pro-woman sport in the world.
It's true.
Why? Why you're so convicted to that?
Why? Because for the first time ever, there's no distinction between men and women in a sport. There's WNBA, there's women's tennis, there's all these W's everywhere. And just a few months ago, women were introduced into the octagon for the first time just as bantamweights. There was no need to put the women in front, because why they don't say men's bantamweight division, why do they have to say women's? And it's the first sport in the world to completely eradicate the separation.
Wait. How could you claim that the UFC eradicated the separation between men and women, yet you still believe men and women should not be allowed to fight each other in the UFC? Of course the separation still exists. And as long as men and women can't fight against each other, women will automatically be judged based on their gender. You can't look past gender when, on the basis of gender, you're separating men and women. Now, if you allow them to fight together, then maybe we can look past gender. Because you know what? I think men and women should be allowed to fight each other in the UFC. Why the hell not? Could you imagine how awesome and exciting it would be if a female MMA fighter became so skilled that she could actually beat the top male fighter in the world? At least then Ronda would truly be deserving of the title most dominant athlete in the world. Ironically, Ronda claims to be pro-woman, but as long as she holds the non-gender equality view that men should not fight women, then women will be forever stuck under the shadow of men because they'll never get to prove themselves to men. But going back to Casey Catanzaro, I left this comment under her viral video. This isn't a big deal. Countless men have completed this course in as little as 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It took her over 7 minutes. The fact that people are making a big deal about a woman completing this course in over twice as long as many men shows how little people think of women. Oh wow, look, it took a woman twice as long to complete a course that countless men have already completed in half the time. Women are pretty weak, but this girl did decent. Stop judging the value of women in competitive comparison to what men do. That doesn't empower them, it only hides them under the eternal shadow of men. And this is really the point of my video. I'm not here to rain on women's parade or to belittle their athletic potential, because both of these women are in undeniably better shape than I am. The point of this video is that today in modern society, there is a concerted effort to tell women that they are only valuable and strong if they copy what men do. Why does the so-called feminist movement consistently judge a woman's strength and value by her ability to emulate what men traditionally do? Don't women have other qualities that make them uniquely valuable? Is a woman only as valuable as her ability to do as many push-ups as a man? What about women's innate talents for intuition, emotional vulnerability? And, oh, that's right, the capacity and the ability to create, nurture, and give birth to new life. There is so much more to being a woman than trying to emulate male physical strength. And yet our society consistently tells women that the only way to be valuable and strong is to unceasingly try to be like men, totally disregarding women's essential, wonderful function as creators and nurturers of life. Now, some people at this point might call me a misogynist, but the truth is I'm women's best fucking friend, because I'm here to tell women that they don't have to be like men in order to be strong and valuable. The feminist movement hasn't liberated women, it's only enslaved them to unrealistically high expectations of strength and empowerment. Today, women aren't just expected to be women, they're also expected to be men. This is why there's the phenomenon of the working mother, or even the single working mother. Just like our society tends to excessively celebrate female athletes, our society also excessively celebrates working mothers. But really, what are we celebrating? That a woman is expected to become pregnant, nurture a human being in her body for 9 months, give birth, alter the condition of her body, then take care of her child for 18 years, all while she's also expected, as a so-called independent and empowered woman, to work a 9-to-5 job, busting her ass like a slave, leading to the increasing number of women who, over the past 30 years, have reported being less and less happy with their lives. This doesn't sound like empowerment. This sounds like slavery. Slavery to unrealistically high expectations. You know, if a woman like Ronda Rousey wants to build muscle and become a masculine beast in the cage, go for it. In fact, I'll be buying the pay-per-view for your upcoming UFC match, UFC 190. But at the same time, let's not forget, Not all women feel content living that lifestyle. Some women just want to be feminine. They just want to be women. And of course, the irony is that the same feminists who claim to be pro-woman are the same ones telling women that they can only be valuable if they emulate men. That doesn't sound very pro-woman to me. Oh, almost forgot. Speaking of gender equality, check out the sexy new that's a sexy shirt, y'all. Looks sexy on me and it looks sexy on you too, I bet. Gender equality, we're splitting the bill. Shirts are now available, y'all. Check it out in the link below. Take care. Shipping worldwide, by the way.